Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series Week 8. We tonight have a match from Division D East between Furters and 2Calculated2Throw. As you can see, we've got the standings up here. Furters sitting with 17 points within spitting distance of that first place point, with 20 points if they get a domination tonight. And 2Calculated2Throw, very much in a similar circumstance, looking to overtake Luciodology and protect their place against the Olaf and Probius. And unfortunately, I don't know why that number 9 team is not showing the actual name. I can get that fixed in a little bit here. But yeah, so just a quick overview of what this match means to these teams. We could see potentially a three-way tie there for first place. Now, in the event of a three-way tie, let's see, who was it? The tiebreakers for these teams would go in favor of, flip into the right page here. Well, there. Okay, well, I'll just have to go from memory. The tiebreakers for these teams, if I remember correctly, goes Save the Murloc, and then I believe that Full Meta Jacket. I'm sorry, Furters would be second, and then Nexus Cats would be third if Furters was able to get a 2-0 victory. And then 2Calculated would actually be able to be in front of Luciodology, if I remember right. But Probius, they also have a match this weekend against Backbone. That's the funky symbols you see there. And they could, in theory, also have a three-way tie. So it's going to be a really exciting finish to Div D East. And real quick here, 9th place is a mystery indeed. So let's see. We've got, for the maps tonight, the first map banned was Sky Temple. That was banned by Furters, which I'm going to go ahead and update that here in just a moment. Sky Temple, Furters. And the second ban was Tomb of the Spider Queen by 2Calculated. So no spiders and no Luxoria. Oop, not Sky Temple on both. Tomb of the Spider Queen. There we go. And our first match is going to be on Cursed Hollow. And Cursed Hollow was picked... I don't know why I bothered to write this stuff down. I have no idea where I put it. Anyways, it was picked by one of the teams. I'll figure it out in a second here and we'll post that. So that's where we're going. We're going to Cursed Hollow. And it's going to be all kinds of fun. So I believe the teams are about ready. Let me just get confirmation that I had this right. Just Hollow was pick this. And Sky. The page. All right, that is correct. So those bans were correct. Cursed Hollow was in fact picked by Furters, so they will be the second pick. 2Calculated is going to go ahead and be the first pick. So looks like we've got some excitement going on in chat already. Welcome to the stream, everybody. We're happy to have you, and I believe we're going to go ahead and get this game started. So let me confirm that we're all ready. Getting the ready check from both teams. And while we're waiting on that, check out these upcoming matches. We have 3 matches from Div C East happening at 9 p.m. tonight. There are a couple of matches as well tomorrow. Even some matches on Saturday and Sunday for D West. A lot of potential position adjustments coming out of these next few matches. So really, really important to watch those. There's also a game at 10:30, which I did not put on there only because of the fact that I didn't have a caster yet. But if you stick right here, it probably will be me. So keep an eye on that schedule. Just make it up. Exactly. Really, who cares, right? It's whatever I say it is. And it looks like both teams are now ready. So we're going to go ahead and get started and hop into this draft for Cursed Hollow. Hey, I found the page that I was on. Yay! So Cursed Hollow, a rather large map. We've got the siege camps on the top lane, bot lane, opposite sides, and then of course those middle bruiser camps, and then the two boss control points, which are oftentimes the deciding factor for Cursed Hollow. One on safe side for each team, opposite of those siege camps. You're going to see value out of some globals here. You're going to see value out of camp takers like your Greymane or maybe a Sonya or Illidan. Don't see them a lot, but it could happen. Abathur has a lot of value here. Maybe even a Lost Vikings. I don't know. Who knows? It could happen. Our first ban of the night lately has been Ana in most of the games that I've been casting, but tonight it's going to be Orphea. That is an oddly specific mage ban, followed up by Tracer. Another oddly specific ban. These are not heroes that typically get banned in the first round, so I'm assuming that these are directly related to the teams as opposed to their meta consciousness. But maybe there's a secret Div D East meta that I'm just not catching on to yet. We'll see. And Stukov, another similar circumstance. Not a bad ban. None of these really, bad bans, just not the common ones. And Kael'thas, probably the most common one. I would guess that Kael'thas in C and D is probably the most common ban. I may be wrong on that, but I would guess that. Oh, there's the Ana. Not surprising, picking her up. She did get a little bit of a buff with her talents yesterday. Let's see, Ana and Jaina. Jaina gets a little bit of value out of that setup from the Ana, and also, of course, the nano boost if Ana elects to take that. Not sure if I mentioned the Dahaka, but of course, a first pick Dahaka being of great value on Cursed Hollow. Probably his best map, I would think. And then followed up by the Garrosh and the Gul'dan. And I gotta tell you, the Garrosh Dahaka combo can be absolutely terrifying if you can land the Wrecking Ball, Q-stun. Can't remember the name of that ability, but the Q-stun from Garrosh, and then Dahaka just grabs a tongue and you drag somebody all across the map. Followed up by a Lucio ban. I love Lucio here. There's so many walls. He can ride everywhere. Let's see. Hannibal's on the Dahaka. Garrosh for August Sun. Our last ban coming out for ETC. ETC gets some value here. He can be another one of those globals. The Mosh Pit can be pretty terrifying to deal with if you don't have counters to it. Technically speaking, all three of these heroes could counter it. So maybe that's targeted. Maybe that's a hero that Frank's Furters likes to play. They're going to pick up the Diablo Cassia. Let's see. Diablo and Cassia for Amazon. I'm just going to enjoy... I want you to know, Amazon, when you come back in here later, I'm going to enjoy saying that name all night long. And our last two picks coming up for 2Calculated. Lili and Tychus. So Tychus is gonna get significant value on that Diablo as long as there's the chance to sit there and just auto attack. and then the Leoric. Space Lord meet Leoric. So looking at these drafts, you've got some pretty significant combo value out of Frank's Furters with an Entomb, APOC potentially, maybe even a Breath, Lightning Breath, Jaina's potential for Ring. Whereas on the side of 2Calculated, you're looking at the Garrosh throw, hopefully getting additional value out of the Tychus with his minigun, getting some drag options, maybe a little bit of silence. You got a lot of kind of anti-CC because of that. If you walk in too close to Garrosh, you're going to find yourself just getting deleted. So we'll see how this turns out. Lili's got the... Well, I guess she no longer has the shortest cleanse in the game. She has the shortest cleanse in this game. So we'll see if that helps to protect her team against the Ana Sleeps, the Diablo charges and stuns, the APOC, and potentially that Ring of Frost. Oh, and by the way, they also have a Cassia. So here we go, beginning of Game 1 between 2Calculated2Throw and Frank's Furters. Let's introduce our teams. In the blue trunks, I'm going to screw up these names because I didn't take time to check them. Galderice on the Lili, Jurgen Derb on Gul'dan, August Sun on the Garrosh, Fear is going to be playing Tychus, and Hannibal on the Dahaka. That is your 2Calculated2Throw. We'll see if they live up to that name. And in the red, we have Frank's Furters, Magic Master on the Leoric, Diablo being played by Blue Bananas, Amazon on Cassia seems appropriate, Indecisive there on the Ana, and Jaina being played by Jared Roski. And that is your Frank's Furters team. I do have a widescreen monitor, so I apologize for those of you that are watching on your phone. Things may be a little bit small. I'll try to zoom in every once in a while just to, give you a little bit better view of the action. This is a very big map, so things are going to happen all over the place. And if you ever need to chat me, if there's something that I missed, please make sure that you ping me with my name in chat so I'm aware and paying attention to it. So Tychus and Cassia are going to go ahead and split off to the bot lane, whereas Dahaka and Leoric up here in the top lane. Leoric misses that spooky hand, which Dahaka is going to pull him back in and get a little bit of damage value from that. Wrecking Ball, talent, unrivaled strength, the selection for Garrosh. This is the second time in 2 days I've seen that change. Maybe because of the increased cost of the Q talent, which I still can't remember the name of. Maybe that's a change now. That combo just seems absolutely perfect with the EQ because of the ranges just line up perfectly. So we'll see how that turns out. Cassia did push off Tychus, get him blinded. He's not going to get any significant damage. As Ana is going to take this camp over here, the siege camp. We'll see her in about an hour. As the top siege camp taken for 2Calculated, they're pretty early on this. The siege camp being in the top lane, it's not going to get any value if they wait on it. Everybody's going to be there, so they're going to try to get what value out of this camp as they can. And Ana being taken forever on this camp, let's check in on her. She's going to have that camp done and ready to go as this first tribute comes up in about 30 seconds. And that will mean that somebody's got to stay there and get this. Garrosh gets the throw on Diablo. Diablo still has a fairly low health pool. He's only got 25 souls, but unfortunately, they didn't have anybody to follow up on that. Gul'dan was busy. He was looking over here at their bruiser camp, and he just said, hey, what are you doing up there? So a 3v1 in the mid lane. They did leave this camp, so it'll be all ready for them to take when this tribute is spawning. Let's check in on the Cassia Tychus. So about half for each of these two individuals down here. And up in the top lane, they're both fairly low. Dahaka getting Leoric very low. This might be a first kill if he can get just a little bit more damage on him. If he's got that... Oh, he doesn't have that W. Maybe he didn't have enough mana for it. Very close, but Leoric will have to tap. Dahaka, I'm going to make that mistake a lot. Dahaka also has to tap because he just doesn't have any mana. He can't get into this fight. Although in theory, he could go back and Z in, but... Dahaka's going to get the tongue onto Leoric. He's very low, but none of the damage is really there for the follow-up. Gul'dan's going to go around the side and peek at Leoric, but he's going to try to get as much damage on the group as he can. The Garrosh will throw the Leoric in, and Leoric will be the first blood of the game. Dahaka very low. He's going to back out as the tribute gets started on the channel, but Jaina's going to get a nice big burst of damage thanks to that Blizzard. Diablo's also very low, so he's got to be careful here. He doesn't have basically as much health as anybody here. Lily gets caught with the Fend, is gonna go down, but Cassie's gonna pay for her life, but Jaina's gonna make Tygus pay for it, and Leoric coming back, getting that trait value, finishes off the Garrosh, and now this first tribute is gonna go over in favor of Frank's Furters. Whole lot of chat going on there for that that first tribute, and it looks like this camp that they picked up right before this tribute did get about half of that first turret, that first wall, maybe actually almost all of it. And this bottom siege camp that they timed is also getting good value down here. That first turret down, possibly even this wall from this next attack. So pretty decent value in that off boss lane for them. Aggressive boss lane is what we'll call it tonight. In the middle, we are going to get the Q in on Diablo. Garrosh is going to throw him over, but he's going to shadow charge his way back into the middle and be perfectly safe. Does look like he's completed his souls, so he's all set now. He's a real boy. And Jaina's sitting at about 30% or so on her stacking quest. And it looks like maybe a little bit of difference here with this additional basic attack damage coming out of Diablo instead of the W quest. Once again, maybe that's a change because of the increased mana cost that came in on his Flame Stomp as of yesterday. Not seeing any real difference out of Anna's build, though. She's still going heavily into that grenade build. And Gul'dan is not going to let his team face check that bush. He's going to go ahead and build some Echoed Corruption stacks on 3 members. It's a 4v3 right now. Cassie coming in at about half health, so they're going to have to be careful. The grenade goes out, blocks the healing onto Garrosh. He is going to go down, question mark, and they in fact also get the interrupt on Tychus, who was trying to channel that whole time. Looks like Lily's going to get caught and destroyed as well. Tychus is just 1 Q away from death, and Diablo will not catch up to him, but Jaina will finish that job. And here we have Cassia gathering that tribute. Nice and close in case anybody wanted to see the visual effect of Diablo's fire pause, I guess. I don't know. Pause. Level 10 online now, thanks to that fight for Frank's Furters. And we're going to see the Nano Boost, as mentioned earlier, the Entomb, the Ring of Frost, Lightning Breath, and the Valkyrie. So which of the many CCs do you pop your cleanse on, Lily? We will find out. Anna once again coming over here to get this camp. She's gone so long, you just have to wonder if they know. This could be a ripe picking for a Dahaka who got a little bit aggressive, and he could easily escape out. And there's that camp picked up. Right now we've got, what, 4? Yeah, 4 members coming up from 2Calculated. Their ults, we've got the Draken Laser Drill. We do have the Jugs coming out from Lily, the Horrify, the Isolation, and of course Warlord's Challenge, that 2-second AoE taunt. Dahaka's going to miss the tongue onto Cassia. Probably really good that happened, otherwise Cassia would be a dead girl. The Garrosh is going to go ahead and get his stun onto 2 members as Diablo's in close. The Ring of Frost goes out, doesn't hit anybody, but there's a Lightning Blast, and the Fear getting hit onto Leoric as he also gets taunted. Now there's the Entomb that's going to hit 3 people and finish the job on all of them. Fear's going to get caught by the Valkyrie and pulled in. Another Q or 2, and he's likely to go down as well. Diablo's going to charge in and just finish it with his auto attacks. Finish off the Gul'dan as well. This is a 5-man team wipe in favor of Frank's Furters, and a curse. This is huge value to them. I don't know that I would have sent all 5 people in the bot lane. Probably would have sent at least 1 person to soak a lane somewhere, get that massive XP boost, but it looks like they just want to get, they know these death times are very low. They want to get as much damage out of this bot lane as possible. That is a boss lane. It's their aggressive boss lane, so it might be a little bit difficult for them to get later in the game, unless they get a team wipe. But hey, if you get a team wipe like they just did, that opens up a win condition for them. And Tychus going with In the Rhythm, so the more attacks he gets while using minigun, it looks like Gul'dan's going to get flipped and just finish the job. I can't even talk about Tychus. The Entomb goes out on 2, but the taunt comes in on 3 and does save that Lily. Otherwise, without that taunt, she goes down as well. Here comes this... the Keep's almost at half health. Tychus is going to get away. The Ring of Frost missing, as Diablo will flip him, but he uses his escape to get out. And now 2Calculated clearing up what they can in the middle, but Garrosh didn't respect the dive out of Diablo. They had no Keep to worry about. They just walked in and took that kill. Tychus is going to come in and get some minigun damage onto Diablo, but drops his laser to get some damage on him. Doesn't really get any value out of it. Dahaka's going to get the tongue onto Diablo, but again, there's no follow-up. The tongue matters not if you are by yourself. Cassia looking to come over and get this bruiser camp started. And Lily and Gul'dan, it looks like, are going to go ahead and get on their siege. I imagine that it's kind of a tough call with being so close to 13 talents and all members up, but if they can get this push out, get some good vision on the enemy team, they do have pretty good damage. They could probably take down a boss pretty quickly, I would think. So once they see 2Calculated off the map, not off the map, on the map in a better location, they may try to take a look at that. We got this, comes from Sarah JP. Cassia go ahead and gets that siege camp as the members of Frankfurters are heading up to the top, maybe looking at ganking this Dahaka, as Tychus is in this bot lane, and they can clearly see the 3 members of 2Calculated in the middle. Dahaka's going to see that that vision's being taken. Leoric has got the spooky hand getting him slow. Diablo gets the charge in, and Dahaka will have to use his essence, but there goes the healing reduction in the Entomb to make sure that Dahaka is not coming back. And it looks like 2Calculated saying, that's fine, we're going to take this boss, we can do this. This is just the first tribute, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but we got to get some value here. This bot lane is going to keep pushing, there are catapults coming, there's a siege giant camp coming. We've got to get something going on this. And it's going to be rather close. Gul'dan getting rooted and ultimately taking a bunch of damage, and Garrosh as well taking a bunch of damage. They do get that boss right in time as the top tribute is just spawning, and now Frank's Furters coming over to pick up their boss. And once again, they see that 2Calculated is in this bot lane, so they know that they can do this quickly enough and safely enough. And I imagine that they'll just leave this bottom boss here. This boss may get some fort damage. I don't imagine it gets much more than about half or so, especially with these catapults in this lane. But they're going to go back anyway. They don't want to lose that bottom fort. So they're just going to take whatever damage this boss can give them in this upper fort. Maybe it'll probably get that wall, since they're not spending a lot of time defending it. And we do have the tribute spawning here as well, so another positive value here. Gul'dan's going to get caught by the Valkyrie, and the fear goes out on all 5 members of Frank's Furters trying to get away. He's got 10, 12 health, but they will finish that as the boss will now complete that fort, and it is now dead. Everybody on Frank's Furters is half health or less except for Leoric. That fear was just fantastic, but there was no follow-up. Same thing. And Leoric gets the Entomb on Tychus. The Ring of Frost is going to miss. He was just, providing a nice little circle for him, just to let him know. Something of a prison, if you will. And there's nothing left on the map to get. Currently, the Bruiser camp on the left side is coming up in about 30 seconds. So right now, they're just looking to get some soak, maybe catch a pick here while Tychus is down. He's the biggest threat to Diablo, really, is that Tychus. They don't have a lot of other consistent damage. The Gul'dan can get some dot damage, but Ana can heal that up pretty decently as long as it's not going to too many people. And one big change to Ana is the ability for her sleep darts to now pierce with a talent at level 7. Of course, they didn't take that talent, but just as a be aware of it kind of thing, that did come out yesterday as well in an effort to have a little bit more talent diversity. So we're going to zoom out a little bit here and watch this as 5 members of Frankfurters are here at the tribute already, and we've got 4, but a Dahaka could come in at any moment. They are going to boop Ana off the point. Leoric's going to get the Entomb. There goes Fear out on Leoric, and somebody else is over there. As in the back line, Diablo is going to get the Lightning Breath out. Finish off. Wow. All 4 of those people that just showed up. Indecisive barely makes it out with 100 health. Diablo is also low. He's going to potentially die to this laser drill. But Cassie's going to finish off the Tychus. And once again, a 5-man team wipe in favor of Frankfurters. This is now a curse, and they already have 1 catapult on the core. They've got another one on its way. This top fort is going to go down fairly soon. I don't know. This very well could be game. They're almost 19 as well. 10 seconds until really anybody's up to do anything about it, but there's already damage. There's no shield. This is it. And here comes 2Calculated. And Leoric blocking him off, letting him know he's not going to let him in. Lily throwing out her blinding wind, but unfortunately it was just too little too late, and that is game 1 going over to Frankfurters. Update that. So, a remarkably dominant performance on behalf of Frankfurters. They had all the kills. They didn't have all the damage, as you can see. Cassia, their #1 damage dealer, only 27k. They just had the ability to make sure that they focus that damage, delete the enemy team, and put so much pressure that Lily could not keep up. She only did 28k healing. So that's barely more than the 1 DPS. But the whole team here had very similar damage, with the exception of Ana, who of course was our siege camp extraordinaire on this match. But Gul'dan did get a lot of damage, but once again, Ana coming in with the big heals managed to prevent most of that damage from being of any real consequence. And we'll take a look again at the talents here. So obviously no level 20s available. And pretty much all the talents I would have expected. I'm a big fan of Valkyrie. I know a lot of people don't care for it, but you know what? With all of this CC and that Valkyrie got a lot of value. She got Tychus a couple of times. I believe she got a Gul'dan in there, and you get 1 pick, and this 2Calculated team just falls apart. They need everybody on deck to be able to make this work. So, alrighty. We'll be back in just a moment. I'm going to send you over to the Patreon link and then give you some music here in just a moment. But we'll be back once the new map has been selected, and I believe there's a little bit of a roster swap as well, so we'll see some adjusted people when we come back. Alrighty, so we'll be ready to go here shortly. Currently, we're just waiting on the roster swap that I mentioned earlier. We've got 2 people who are going to be swapping out, so that'll be just a moment. And I did update the points here, so now Frank's Furters with that win puts them in a tie with full meta jacket. Now, I did find my notes. Full meta jacket did beat Frank's Furters. So if Frank's Furters wants to take a 3rd or 2nd place, they have to win one more map. If they want 2nd place, they have to win this map. If they win this map, they'll be in 2nd place because they do end up getting the tiebreaker over Nexus Cats. I did confirm that. Now, 2Calculated, with where they're at the 12 points there, the best they can get to now is 14, so that would potentially put them ahead of Luciodology. And the Backbone, I'm going to go ahead and get that fixed right now as I'm talking. The Backbone team, which will update approximately now on your screen, sitting in 9th place, they've got a match here on Sunday. So that Sunday match is Backbone versus Probius. So Backbone doesn't have a chance, unfortunately, to catch them, but they are obviously looking to try to leapfrog Probius and get into the playoffs, whereas Probius could still now overtake 2Calculated if they do not win this next game. If they win this next game and lose the match, they'll be at 13 points, and Probius would still be able to get into a 3-way tie with Luciodology. And if that happens, 2Calculated is the lowest on the point total for the tiebreaker. Probius would be the next lowest, and Luciodology would be above. So that would put Luciodology there at 5th. Probius would be at 6th, and 2Calculated would be at 7th if they managed to have a 3-way tie there. It could happen. Who knows? Things like this happen all the time, right? So it looks like we're still waiting on the next individual here. Oh, here we go. They're starting to come in. And our next map is going to be Infernal Shrines. Let's go ahead and pull that up here. Let's see, Team 2, so that would be blue. Okay. Let's take a look at these maps here. So originally we had Sky Temple banned, Tomb of the Spider Queen banned. We just played on Cursed Hollow, and that was picked and won by Frank's Furters. 2Calculated2Throw is going to go ahead and pick up Infernal Shrines for our next game. And let's see who we've got swapping out. So looks like Amazon is sticking with us, Indecisive is sticking with us, Magic Master is sticking with us. So we're going to miss out on Blue Bananas and Jared Roski. In their place, we have Dowling Pig. Going to do my absolute best to not call you DP on the stream. Nobody wants to hear that. And I believe Boggs is coming in. In fact, Boggs is coming in. If you're not familiar with those names, those are some of the... I believe Div B and Div C moderators. And it looks like everybody's ready. I'm going to tell them I'm ready. I'm all set to go. And we should be able to get this match for game number 2 underway. Hopefully. Maybe. Are they ready? Decides is ready. Yep, they're ready. They're good to go. Starting up the draft on Infernal Shrines. Alright, so last game we saw the Orphea, Tracer, Stukov, and Kael'thas. I fully expect to see another Kael'thas ban here. Kael'thas being able to provide some significant zoning and damage potential on this map. Tracer being the first ban, so they don't care what I have to say. And why should they? This this first ban on the opposite side, of course, being it was the first ban in the other direction, but they had banned Orphea here. Orphea can get some value here. It's very, very tight areas with the shrines, so her ultimates can get significant value, especially if you play something with a good solid CC like not a Dahaka. The other D. Deckard. There we go. Deckard. So many Ds tonight. Deckard Roots or a Mosh Pit. Maybe you get an Eternal Feast, or you set up your own plays with the Crushing Jaws. Stukov and Kael'thas coming out for the next bans. Once again, following very similar to where they were before. We'll see if the Orphea comes out as a ban now as well. Oh, it's like I saw the future. And the Ana once again, so no hesitation there. And Ana did a great many things in the last match. She was a really solid offset to the incoming damage of Gul'dan. And unfortunately for 2Calculated, the Tychus was oftentimes just didn't have enough time to build up that in the rhythm. He didn't get his rhythm. And Jaina Muradin coming out now for 2Calculated. So Jaina switching sides. She's no longer on the red team. She wanted to put on her blue dress. And Jaina would be... once again, that ring setup is just significant. Muradin can get 1 stun anyways, eventually 2. So we'll see if they bring anything else in to help to build that ring combo. Maybe a Zeratul, or even a Deckard, as I mentioned earlier, with the Orphea. Their last ban here was ETC. We'll see what they choose to go now. Never mind, ETC's already on board, so... Welcome to the draft, 3 minutes later. Raynor also being picked up by Boggs. So Raynor and ETC being picked up by our 2 new members, not new members, but new parts of the team here for this match. On-roster subs. Actually, technically the on-roster subs are the people in the last game. These guys are the main team, it seems like. Leoric being banned out, and then followed up by Lucio. I believe, if I remember correctly, somebody mentioned that there was a Div D team that had a monster Lucio, so maybe it was 2Calculated. Maybe that's why this Lucio's being knocked out. Malthael and Alexstrasza, so no real build into the ring, so maybe they're looking at a Water Elemental. Right now, the only interrupts you've got for a potential Mosh Pit are the Muradin stun and Dragon. So I'm assuming they're going to come up with somebody to fill that gap. Gald has Alex. And final picks over here for Frank's Furters. We've got the Artanis and Gul'dan. So good wave clear for the shrines. Gul'dan is one of the best, if not the best. And then the Artanis providing that swap mechanic and just solid shielding, significant single point damage. So we'll see how he turns out. Amazoon is now on Artanis. And the Blaze. So there's your setup if you want the setup for the ring, if that's what they're going for. I don't believe he's unstoppable with his charge, so they still don't really have any really quality Mosh interrupts other than the Muradin, and Muradin's your front line. So if he gets caught by that ETC, it's just a dance party. Draft is set, and here we go to game 2 on Infernal Shrines between Calculated Throw and Frank's Furters, with the current score 1-0 in favor of Frank's Furters. So we definitely had some chat going out there for both teams. If you're a fan of 2Calculated to Throw, they need some support right now. That was a really tough game that they just had, and now Frankfurters just brought in their A team, right? So they could use a hand. Cheer them on in chat. And if you're a fan of Frankfurters, well, keep them going. They just won the last game. All right, let's get you these pop-ups. I like these pop-ups. They're really neat. So in the blue, for 2Calculated2Throw, we've got Fear on the Blaze, Galdry Ice on Alexstrasza, Jurgenderb on the Jaina, August Sun on the Muradin. Hannibal is going to be playing the Malthael. That's 2Calculated2Throw. And looking to make them throw is Frankfurters. We've got Boggs playing the Rainer, Magic Master on the Gul'dan, Artanis is going to be played by Amazoon, Dowling Pig on the ETC, and Indecisive once again on Ana. So talents posted up there. So far, mostly talents I would expect to see. We got a block coming out of Muradin. And Alexstrasza choosing to go into that Q build. Let's zoom out just a touch here for this map. So a little bit of a skirmish in the middle. We do have some questing talents on both sides. Jaina wants to build up her, what is it called? Frostbite? Yeah, Frostbite. And then the Echo Corruption for Gul'dan. And then ETC looking for globes. And stacks for Muradin on his Q. So everybody wants to get a little bit of value out of this initial push. As Blaze is going to go down to the bot lane with Rainer, and Malthael is going to push in with Artanis. And here we have the minion waves coming in here. So the overall wave clear, generally speaking, looks to be pretty even. You know, the Blaze has a little bit better AoE. Rainer has a pretty decent single target with a little bit of AoE burst. Jaina versus Gul'dan, pretty similar, but Gul'dan I think wins that matchup just slightly. And then I think the matchup in the top lane as far as wave clear is favored to Malthael, and it looks like that is correct there. So we'll see how that turns out. ETC is going to go in aggressively on the aggressive camp here. Camp invade. We've got a 3 versus 4 invade. Maybe questionable. Gul'dan's already at half health. He's going to channel as Galdry Ice on Alexstrasza is going to go down, and that's first blood as Ana's going to rescue that Rainer just barely. And that camp invade, they didn't get the camp, but they did get the kill. Although now Gul'dan is very low as Muradin's going to jump in. The charge stun out of Blaze gets them stunned, and now Gul'dan will go down. So ultimately a 1-for-1 trade, but they got some stacks out of it. Level 4 has been achieved now thanks to that camp and a little bit less minion soak from Frankfurters. But now, of course, they're not that far behind. So now they're going to go ahead and clear out this middle camp, and Rainer's going back to soak. I imagine Gul'dan's coming down to work on their camp now. Yep, with the Ana. Get that finished up. First Punisher of the game getting started here. It is a Frozen Punisher. And the CC value out of the Frozen Punishers, they're relatively easy to dodge, but it doesn't take much. A slow Jaina, and we've got a grenade onto the Blaze preventing any healing from him, a stun on him as well, and he will have to pop Pyromaniac to survive and keep Frankfurters from coming in. That's going to be a pretty significant cooldown for him, as Artanis is going to jump in, but he's not going to get anything. Blaze is going to charge in on the Ana, once again also not getting anything. The grenade goes out onto August Sun basically only, and they will go ahead and heal up, popping the dragon. They're about halfway through, and also halfway through on the dragon, so they're going to wait this out for just a little bit, make sure that they can get on that. The swap onto the Alexstrasza. She's in the middle of the team. She's going to get grenaded. The W goes out. She doesn't get the heal, and she does go down, but Artanis going down to the Muradin dive in the back, and it's still a 4v4 as Blaze is going to walk away, and Malthael, very low on health and mana, will make it up. He's going to go back and tap. So still 4v4. Significant wave clear coming out of Gul'dan to push these down as quickly as possible. He's going to get charged by the Blaze. Blaze is himself going to get stunned and deleted. Too much damage. He just didn't have anything to deal with that. But Ana's very low, Rainer's low, and Gul'dan is low. This is not a good recipe going into this. But Malthael is he's just gonna take all the damage. He didn't have any significant support behind him. the Punisher will go over to 2Calculated2Throw, but they can't really push with it. If all 5 members of Frank's Furters are up, they're going to get this over the wall. They're going to defend it. And Jaina will probably get a little bit of damage out of this, but not a ton. Artanis electing to make the Punisher stay on the other side of the wall. I don't know if that was intended or not, but it's going to get more value now because of that. Because now the keep's not helping. 3-man stun from the Punisher. John Cena living it up. And they're 1 root on the Artanis, but again, they couldn't push in, so all they could get was this bottom wall. Still, not a bad value out of that. Just could have been better, right? They could have gotten more if only they had been able to keep their people up. But that's okay. Bottom camp coming over to Frank's Furters. They're looking now to invade. They are going to get in there, catch one person, stun him, boop him against the wall. Alex Strauss is going to get knocked back. Jaina's going to get swapped. And that's a 2 for nothing on the camp invade. They don't get the camp, but they will take that kill XP. And now we've got the Shaman camp getting caught just in time, but the invade is still coming up here. They want to catch one of these people. Unfortunately, they weren't early enough. They had to stop in the middle there for a moment, and that gave 2Calculated enough time to get away. Scatter. Bot lane camp is going to get cleared up between Blaze and Muradin. In the top, Artanis is going to clear up this lane, and Malthael 1v4ing. I'm sure he's just looking forward to that one. And the team is going to go ahead, and Frank's Furters is going to go ahead and rotate down here. Raynor is potentially getting caught out, gets stunned by the Muradin. Jaina's slowing him. He pops his talent that heals him, the thing that does the thing. Blaze is going to charge stun him and finish the job, but now it's 4v3, but they're all low. The honor grenade goes out, prevents damage or healing onto the Alex. The charge stun from Fear getting 2 members as shit's just going real all over the place here. Charge stun from ETC happens to land on the Muradin, but then the Blaze stun. How can we keep track of these stuns? Jesus. 2 stuns out there. The swap onto Muradin. I don't know if he has a leap to get away, but it doesn't, well, correction, he may need to get away. He did, and it came up just in time to keep him alive. So ultimately just that 1 kill, but a lot of resources spent, a lot of mana spent, and a fair amount of health spent to get there. Level 10's coming up for 2Calculated now. We've got the Avatar for Muradin, Cleansing Flame for Alexstrasza, the Ring of Frost out of Jaina, the Combustion. So there's your additional CC to help with that Ring of Frost. And still waiting on Malthael's talent, deciding if he's going to try out that new version of Tormented Souls or instead go with Last Rites, and he chooses Last Rites. Blaze charging in here. He's all by himself against 3 members of Frank's Furters. It is an uneven fight here, but the ring goes out, catches Indecisive. The mosh pit onto 3 members of 2Calculated. The Cleansing Flame trying to keep them all alive. It will keep them alive for the moment, and there's so little mana for Frank's Furters, they may be able to just walk away at this point. And they will. So almost every heroic coming out from 2Calculated to get that 1 on a kill, and all of the, looks like all of the, well, 3 of the heroics are now available for Frank's Furters. So even though their Ana's not here, they still have a pretty decent position. They've got some disengage with the Horrify and that laser beam causing some damage. But they're up almost 10 skeletal defenders here, as it's now a 5v4 for a moment. Dragon's popped. There goes the W. Still waiting on her new Dragon W that she just got. As Artanis will Blade Rush in, get a little bit of damage, but the grenade, I'm sorry, not the grenade, Malthael will prevent 50% of his healing, of their healing from the Touch of Death. So there goes the Horrify onto 2 people, keeping them out of that heal. ETC's going to charge in. The swap going in onto the Alexstrasza. These swaps on Alexstrasza are just beastly. And everybody is so low, and that laser not going to be able to catch up to Hannibal and bring him down unless he stands in a circle for very long. As Blaze pops his Combustion but gets no value because everybody was gone. Ring of Frost hits Gul'dan. Maybe there is value. Also dallying on the ETC, they do take Gul'dan down with that combo, and Malthael now able to heal up, but they've only got about 20 to 40% of their mana. Their resources are fairly low. They do have the Cleansing Flame back. Dallying Pig very low, and here comes Cleansing Flame trying to finish the job. Ana's going to be able to keep them all alive as Artanis is going to body block and prevent them from coming in, and the Rainer's starship, the Hyperion, is going to get some skeletal defenders and put some pressure on them, but the Punisher is once again going to go over to 2Calculated. The leap onto the Artanis, the charge stun from Blaze hits Artanis and Ana. Not quite enough to finish off the Artanis, though. And a quick recap of the heroics, since they are going to go ahead and back away here. We've got Nano Boost up. We've got Charge and Leap coming out of Muradin, but they don't quite connect with the Gul'dan. So we've got the Nano Boost for the Ana, the Mosh Pit, of course, for ETC, Horrify out of the Gul'dan, Hyperion, and then the Purifier Beam for Artanis. And at half health, this Punisher's not going to get a ton done other than stunning half the team. It will get a little bit of damage here, but 2Calculated wants this camp. ETC scouts us out. He knows that they're here. He's going to pop the Mosh. He's going to get 4 members of 2Calculated. They are going to swap out the Muradin, who's going to get the stun out. The Ring of Frost goes out, hits 2 people. Ana's going to go down. Jaina's going to go down, followed by the Gul'dan standing in that fire, as Blade Rush is going to get some significant damage onto the Blaze, but the last right's coming out and finishing that Artanis. What a combination. They got a hell of a team fight out of 2Calculated for that. Little bit too aggressive on that push. ETC was just a little bit too far ahead. Got that amazing 4-man mosh, but the swap out on the Muradin just left them too disjointed. Muradin now in the backline can do whatever he wants to the backline, and they don't finish the kills. They only got 1 kill out of that. So now we've got everybody back up from Frank's Furters. They're down a talent tier. They'll get that soon, but they see that this first camp was taken by 2Calculated, and now they're looking at this bot camp. They want to get as much map pressure as they can. They want revenge for that first game. That first game was brutal to them, but they are getting all the Punishers, and they want all the structures. And right now they've got a pretty significant lead in that top lane, half on that first tower, and this bot lane fort is going to go down if they get this next Punisher for sure, possibly before, if they don't get an answer onto this tower. And 2Calculated come in on the aggressive camp. Again, I think this is a somewhat questionable decision, but you do have Rainer in the top lane, so you're still in that favorable 5 versus 4 trade, but you're in just a little bit deep for that. They're going to go ahead and come down here now. They've got not any minions to protect them, but they don't need a whole lot of damage to take this bottom fort, get those periodic catapults. And here's their minion wave. They'll get that finished, as Frank's Furters is going to go ahead and clear up that camp that they just took. And 2Calculated's coming in. They see him. They want this fight. Muradin's going to jump in, stun the ETC, as ETC will charge back. The Ring of Frost goes out, misses everybody. The Purifier Beam onto Malthael is going to get very little value. The Blaze Stun gets him in there, slows everybody down, gets some damage out, but doesn't really get any significant stun value. And there goes the Muradin into the backline again. And Blade Dash almost finishes the job. They keep trying. They're so close, but it's Muradin. He has so much health and the Avatar. Net result, nobody died. The only value was this camp keep pushing up this bot lane. We had 2 ults come out for 2Calculated, 4 ults come out for Frank's Furters. So there's your value. There's your significant benefit. And we'll see how this goes down now. As 4 versus 5 on the point, there's the blizzard damage going out on ETC and Artanis. ETC's going to charge over the Muradin, and Cleansing Flame is popped. Just getting a little bit of extra damage on that ETC, but he's pretty well safe. That doesn't do too much damage. Artanis coming in, he's looking to see if he can maybe get an easy swap, but you got to be really careful with that swap, because while their person goes into your backline, you go back into theirs. ETC's going to come in, he's going to knock everybody away. Blaze is going to charge in, get the charge stun and the combustion, but the ETC is going to get a mosh onto Blaze with the Purifier Beam. Rainer's going to be able to finish off that Alexstrasza, and now the Purifier Beam going over Jaina. Oh, Blaze, you got to watch that. You got to get your geometry better. But the Punisher once again going over to 2Calculated. as Jaina goes down. So once again, this Punisher, just like the first one, is going to get very little value as the whole team is up to be able to defend it. It'll get some damage on this bottom wall, but it's not gonna get anything dead. It may not even get to the wall, as Boggs on the Rainer is gonna go back. He's pretty much out of mana. 2Calculated is gonna come up here, get this top camp. They want to push this in, get this pressure up top, because now they've got this one tower down, the wall is down, they have catapults in this lane. That is a very strong statement. That's the value they needed to get out of that Punisher. Not much of it, not a ton of value, but they got some. And now they're looking to go ahead and complete the circuit. They want to get these camps, keep them pushing. They've got the advantage in the bot lane, they've got the advantage in the top lane, so anytime they can get another camp to push those, it's a win for them. But now, Frank's Furters coming in, they know that they got to be nearby. And both Blaze and Muradin are going to back away, but here comes the rest of the team. ETC's going to charge in. He doesn't have a Mosh yet. Ring's going to go out on the backline, going to get the Ana and kill her. Purifier Beam onto Jaina. She's going to Ice Block. The Fear hits on Alexstrasza, and she goes down. ETC and Amazon getting damage on the Muradin, but ultimately the Last Rites will take out Amazon. Significant damage coming out of Gul'dan to finish off that Malthael. ETC barely making out with his live as Blaze is going to charge in, but ETC is going to remind him that he's the powerhouse here. His charge wins all, as it is a 5-for-2 in favor of Frank's Furters. And ETC able to finish his Prog Rock quest now, so that's some extra healing for his team anytime they happen to be really close together, which will help to offset the significant Jaina damage which will come out when they do that. And it looks like we do see the reduced cooldown, or I'm sorry, not reduced cooldown, increased duration of Dragon Queen, which is going to help him out significantly on these control points, these shrines. But they've gotten all of them. And they are ahead in the structures, but they're behind in kills. At some point, that's going to be a disaster for them, because one team wipe leads to a fort down. It leads to maybe even keep wall. It maybe even leads to keep, because they do have pretty decent siege damage with this amateur opponent and with the Rainer damage, getting that Inspire going on. And he didn't take the one that increases his teammates' attack speed. Not a big surprise with who they have, but they still have significant damage to bring down structures. So it's only going to take one significant team fight where they win handily, 5-0, and all of a sudden the first keep of the game goes in the other direction. Middle Punisher coming up. What do we got coming here? A Mortar Punisher. Mortar Punisher, no CC, no real pain in the neck damage like the Arcane Punisher that we just had a short bit ago, but it does put out significant damage, and it still can stun you if you get caught by it. Rainer's go ahead and pop the Hyperion immediately. Jurgen Derb is going to get caught on the Jaina and pulled in with the swap. ETC's going to get a Mosh onto Blaze and the Muradin. Muradin's going to jump out. He's going to make it out, as this fight just keeps going, but everybody in the red team is healthy. Fear going out onto the Muradin, and they will get 2 kills. Muradin and Jaina will both go down. They still have the Nano Boost. They still have the Purifier Beam. And now 2Calculated on the back foot on the first Punisher that is likely to go over to Frank's Furters. And they're going to come down here, grab this mid camp, because what else can they do with a 3 versus 5? Other than Blaze coming in to check on it and getting caught by the stun, potentially going down here in just a moment. He keeps getting interrupted out of all of his abilities. He just can't get to his fort, to his defensive protection there, and he's going to go down, and that is a staggered death. That's 30 seconds that you're going to be on a red power play, as Frank's Furters is looking to come in here, get as much structure damage before the Punisher comes out so that they can get this on to keep. They need this structure damage, and this is what I just was talking about. The moment they take a solid fight, they just get everything that they want. They're going to go back, get this last point, trigger this Punisher. They still have 20 seconds until Blaze is up. He'll probably be up just shortly after the Punisher makes it to the wall. But this is a rough spot now if you are 2Calculated, because 20's going to come up here very soon for Frank's Furters. Probably in the middle of this fight as they get some minion XP on this. If they get 1 kill, this turns into keep for sure. If they get 2 kills, this could be game, especially if it's Alexstrasza, as the Punisher is just chunking her away. Hyperion's going to help out with that. The Artana swap onto Jaina. Jaina gets the ice block off just in time, as the Hyperion now going out to her Cleansing Flame, trying to keep her alive. It looks like it will, but the Mosh, no, not, yeah, there was a Mosh in there, I think, somewhere. There it is. As Muradin goes down, Malthael will follow him shortly after. 2 kills, 3 kills now, and the Punisher has about 20% health, jumps onto the Alexstrasza. This is going to be a 4th kill, as now Jaina's the only person alive for 2Calculated to finish this Punisher and try to come back and do something, but there's just nothing. She doesn't have anybody to help her, and this second game is going to go over to Frank's Furters. Rip Yerg indeed, Mystic. Those Artana swaps had a bullseye on Alexstrasza. They were on point the whole game. And just another example, another game where you can be behind most of the game, but the stats don't lie. And if you're winning the team fights and losing the objective on this map, but still maintaining your keeps, you can win the game. You just have to win that one quality team fight. And if it wasn't that one, it would have been the next one if if they got that level 20 to win the game. So nice push. You know, the 2Calculated did give a very solid push on that game. They very well could have gotten a keep and won the game. Just in some cases they were a little bit too aggressive and pushing in that blaze to kind of scope out the skeletal defenders. They know you're there. They know you're there, and they have several options for CC, and that staggered death puts your team in a very, very difficult position. So let's see if we can get, pardon me for my co-caster, that would be Alice. Let's see if we can maybe get the captain or somebody else from the team to come in here. Maybe Indecisive, who was kind of the in a way backup captain for tonight. Let's go ahead and get that map over to the red team. Magic Master's going to join us. Let's go ahead and hop over to the NGS lobby. B1 NGS. All right, so we'll be joined by Magic Master here in just a moment. So let's take a look at these updated standings while we're waiting.
Hello.
Welcome, Magic Master.
Yep, that's me.
Alrighty, man. How you feeling after that match?
Honestly, that was a tight match. I'm feeling pretty good though. Yeah.
I don't blame you. That was, at the beginning of that second game there, it looked kind of sketchy, but I mentioned it in stream right before you guys pulled it off. I said, the kills are in favor of Frank's Furters. They just need one team fight, and they're going to get fort, and then they're going to get keep, and if they're not careful, they'll get the game. And
yeah, definitely.
Did.
Yeah,
so,
100%.
Congratulations on your 2-0 victory.
Thank you.
That's going to bump you guys up in the standings. Now, do you know where that puts you?
I'm pretty sure that puts us at second place, right behind Nexus Cats, I think.
It puts you in second place behind Save the Murloc.
Is Save the Murloc.
Save the Murloc. You are in a three-way tie for 20 points with Save the Murloc, Frank's Furters, and Nexus Cats. But I took some time earlier to kind of scope this out. Because of the tiebreaker, you guys are ahead of Nexus Cats, as I think you guys had 3 points in that. Save the Murloc had 4 points, and Nexus Cats had 1, I think it was. So congratulations on your second seed.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, so I know a lot went into making this matchup happen. I don't know how much you participated in the conversations. I had a couple of them with both teams. I am 100% excited that we were able to get this done and on the table here. Did they tell you how much? Were you part of that conversation of how difficult this was?
I wasn't directly in contact with anybody, but I was talking to my team, and it just sounded really frustrating for them to get the game scheduled. As you know, we had to play with 3 subs in the first game. So
part of the challenge of working with an amateur league, of course, is that everybody has their own schedules. But I'm glad you guys were able to pull it together. You really pushed hard to make that happen, and you got the victory because of it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really glad that we ended up playing, because I honestly, even if we didn't win, it would have been a fun match anyway.
Absolutely. So remind me, who were you playing in game 1? Leoric?
Yes, I was playing Leoric.
So I got to tell you, those Entombs, your guys' first comp was absolutely disgusting.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Much value.
To be honest, we didn't really realize the synergy until with Cassia and Leoric, and until we were entering the game, and we were just saying to ourselves, "Dang, if we hit a Valkyrie into an Entomb, that would be wild."
And you did.
Yeah. There were a few times where I entombed where I don't know, it was like one guy, but I feel like it might have been necessary. Same horse, different saddle. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and really, with what you guys had, you had the opportunity to pick off one guy, and you only needed one, right? Their Tychus was the only significant threat to your team, and once he was out of the game, which he was a lot, because of those picks, you made it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we were really happy about that. Honestly, I didn't think it was gonna turn out as well with 3 subs.
Sure, absolutely. Well, and all of you are on the roster, so at least still some familiarity with each other, correct?
Yeah, at least some, yeah.
So, I forgot. Oh, I was going to ask you, so these bands, so tell me a little bit about the bands. Tracer, never gets banned. What's going on with that?
Really, to be honest, all we're seeing in at least what I'm seeing in Div D right now is all target bans against enemy players. So basically get them out of their comfort zone. And there was a I don't know who it was, but there was a Tracer main who had 200 games or so on Tracer. So we were not excited to face that. And I don't think we don't like playing against Tracer. Tracer's just annoying. I'm saying it. So,
fair enough.
And then, so it's basically just target bans and things that might not work well against our comp. So,
Sure, fair enough. And so Tracer and Lucio, I'm guessing then are 2 characters that 2Calculated plays, and that's why you guys banned them out?
Yeah. So I think Lucio was actually the 3rd support that was banned that round. We just wanted to ban another support, and he played Leoric, so might as well, right?
2nd. Yep, Stukov and Lucio were the 2 supports that were banned.
And then I think Anna was picked out because
correct. Yep.
Yeah, one of their players is a good Anna player.
Gotcha. Yeah, so, and you guys snap picked that Anna both times, and it worked really well for you.
Yep. I really, me as a mage player, predominantly, I really love Anna.
Oh, I can imagine. Just enabling you all the time, right?
100%. Yeah, especially with that Gul'dan second game.
I was just gonna bring that up. Yeah. So Gul'dan in the first game was pretty significantly countered by the Ana, but in the second game was just heavily valued because of the swaps. And let me come back to that real quick. Your Artanis player had it was a freaking magnet on his swaps.
Yes. We were honestly quite surprised because I honestly didn't know he was that good as Artanis. So we were pleasantly surprised with that.
The thing that amazed me was that it wasn't that he got swaps. It's that he got swaps on Alex Straza in the middle of a group of people every time.
Yeah, definitely. It was... he plays a lot of FPS, so his aim is really good,
Fair enough.
Same horse, different saddle, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, of course. If you want to get good at HOTS, go play Fortnite. Okay.
Yep, 100%.
And I was a little surprised to see them pick the Alex Straza into the Ana. Was there anything about either of those drafts that made you guys adjust what you were doing? Did you go into it with those drafts in plan, or did you have to make some adjustments?
Not that I actually. They did ban Orphea, which is who I play most often in NGS, which kind of stunk because Orphea and Ana are crazy together.
Yeah, sure.
I forget what happened. I was about to play Artanis. They banned Leoric the second game. That's why.
Yes,
they banned Leoric, yeah, and I was going to play Leoric that game, and I was about to play Artanis, but then last second, they asked me to switch with Amazon to play Gul'dan. So he played Artanis, and I'm really glad that we did, because he ended up being a really valuable player.
Yeah, for sure. That definitely worked out for you guys.
100%, yeah.
Awesome.
Really glad about that.
Well, I do have one last question for you here. I asked this of all of my interviewees, and it's a pretty simple, basic question. Then I'll give you the floor for any shout-outs. Who is, and you may actually have just answered this, but who is your favorite hero to play in Heroes of the Storm? Not necessarily your best hero, but the one you enjoy playing most.
Oh, Gazlo, 100%.
Well, we're done here. Have a great night. I'm just kidding. Fair enough. Well, thank you so much. Go ahead, and the floor is yours for any shout-outs or any comments you'd like to make.
Just want to shout out the 3 subs we had. You guys did great that first game. And then the two people who showed up late. Good for you for showing up. Yeah, that's it.
All right, good deal. Well, thank you very much for joining me here. Much appreciated. It was a fantastic game to watch, or a series to watch, I guess, the match. And
it was thrilling.
And now, just real quick, remind me, are you a sub on the team, or are you on the main roster?
I'm on the main roster.
Gotcha. Okay. So you'll be getting some playoff time here coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm real excited for that. That's going to be a fun time.
And I think just before I let you go, let me look at the standings again. I guess there is still technically the possibility of let's see, you guys would be playing against number 7 seed. So technically speaking, you might be playing a Backbone or a Probius or an Olaf. So who knows who you're going to be playing? There's still a lot. Make sure you tune in on Sunday for that last game to see who you're going to be playing.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be watching that.
Good deal. Well, enjoy your weekend and your victory dance. And in case you're wondering, my team's playing in an hour and 20 minutes, so feel free to tune in on Dead Latin's stream if you have nothing better to do.
Yeah, cool.
Have a good night, buddy.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, so there you have it, folks. That's the end of this match between Frank's Furters and 2Calculated2Throw, with the final standing being 2-0. And if I did all of my math right, and I'm not going to claim 100% that I did, but I think I did, then that puts Frank's Furters into second position for the playoffs. So those first few positions are now locked in with Backbone versus Probius. The highest that they can get now would be, I believe, 6th, as I believe that Luciodology has the tiebreaker over Probius. So the first 5 spots, I believe, are now locked in. So 6, 7, and 8 going to be looking to that match on Sunday. If you are looking for something to do, the next matches tonight here coming up at 9 o'clock. We've got Div C having 3 matches. If you're watching that ticker, you may see it. Bancho versus House of Ches is going to be hosted over on Mongoose, and that is twitch.tv/mongoose_22. Regen Red is my team. We're going to be playing against Wood League at Dead Latin 33. And also Winky Face versus Team Rectum is going to be on twitch.tv/Slexia, Slexia. So make sure you catch one of those games. There are a couple of other games later tonight at 10, 10:30, and 11 that are being cast. So check the calendar and tune in for some more of Heroes of the Storm tonight. My name is Arrow. It's been a pleasure casting for you tonight. My co-caster that spoke up a little bit earlier is Alice, and we'll see you coming soon on our next cast. possibly later tonight at 10:30 or so. So keep an eye out for that.